Bob?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Harvey. Today we're going to be treated by a longtime member, Dinesh Chamanamata. And Dinesh's title is The Art of Lying. This will be a 6 to 8 minute speech, and these are Dinesh's goals: speech delivery, pace, pauses, and clarity of speech. I give you Dinesh Chamanamata.
Hello, Toastmasters. Always tell the truth, or trust the person who speaks the truth. It's a good policy. But if you are the person who is telling the truth, no matter what the truth is, I will tell you that you will have no friends, no family members, perhaps your parents will be with you, but not even your siblings by your side. Truth is not always useful, you know that. You have to tell people what they want to hear from you. And this is one well-polished philosophy politicians use, especially during the election campaign. We know that very well. They know very well telling the truth won't get them anywhere. So I have been a very straightforward person all my life, telling the truth as it is, not in an offensive way, but in an informative way. I still am. I'm still doing it. And it's not working well for me. In the process, I end up offending a whole lot of people. My family members, people at my professional career, everywhere. And yeah, it's never my intention to hurt other people or to belittle other people in the process. My theory is that if I tell the truth, it's useful for that person to make use of the information and build based on that. For example, you go to somebody's house, they make something for you, and ask you at the dinner table how the food is. And then you give your feedback. If it's good, it's good. If it's not good, it's a little too salty, overcooked, or something like that. But you know very well, most people don't do it. They have a compliment right in their mouth. They immediately say, wow, it's great, delicious. While their brain is banging on their head, what are you talking about? It's inedible. But you do that anyway. But most people are trying to be nice. And if a person is like me, perhaps will leave the house not making the host really happy. So that brings me to the social description of lying. Lying is a cooperative act. It's said that unless somebody buys into your lying, it's not a lie anymore. It's valueless. It's in fact considered that lying is one of the most sophisticated accomplishments of human mind. Philosophers and psychologists differ depending on the circumstances and the reasons for lying and why lying can be important for some people. So I was reading a book from a German philosopher. She says that lying is totally not acceptable for the reasons that much of the things that we do on this earth is based on the presumption that people tell the truth. She also tells in favor of lying that it can be useful for some people to conceal themselves and withdrawing from those people who are intruding their personal comfort zone. But most importantly, it's so unwise to release the children into the world unaware that somebody else might lie to them. It is so dangerous. Scientifically speaking, we know that lying takes far more cognitive resources than telling the truth. First of all, you should know the truth. Second, you have to create a scenario which is consistent and does not really contradict the observable facts. At the same time, you have to suppress the truth that will engage you in something called response inhibition. Response inhibition is a cognitive process where you will inhibit your impulses. For example, if you're on a diet, your goal is to lose weight. You will not eat French fries and things like that. So that's a controlling of the impulse. So in this case, your goal is to lie perfectly. So what you do is that you orient yourself, you plan well, and you train your brain to do those things. So all this planning and self control and all that stuff implies that the part of the brain that's involved in enabling you to lie is something called the prefrontal cortex, which is also involved in making the executive decisions. So I was reading a story of a European Union high official ranking member that back in the days when it was the European Economic Community, before the European Union, that when he was sitting in the meetings, the other partners could easily find out that he is lying. It would just show up on his face. And doctors were thinking why this is happening to this person, why it's obviously visible on his face. And later they found out that he had a tumor on his brain which was constantly activating that part of the brain that would show up on his face whenever he lies. He had symptoms similar to Pinocchio. It's also called Pinocchio syndrome. So for many years when people asked me that what is your New Year's resolution, I wanted to tell them that from this year onwards, I'm beginning to learn to lie because I'm really bad at it. And I feel that telling the truth is far more easier than spending all that energy doing the act of lying. My brain would light up like a Christmas tree if I end up trying to lie. You don't have to go there. You don't have to go for imaging the brain or something like that. I cannot even swallow my own spit. It would just choke up. But we do know that some people lie very efficiently. It is a second nature to them. Do you realize that all of these things can happen in a fraction of a second? You catch somebody by surprise, ask them, why didn't you go to the meeting? They would immediately say, oh, my car broke down, I couldn't get there. See, deciding to lie, lying, and then suppressing the truth, engaging yourself in that response inhibition that I talked about, not showing any physical signs on your face. They can do it just like that. So the brain really deserves much more credit than what it gets. It can do things really efficiently. So moving forward, I do plan to bend the truth to some extent because telling the truth is not working for me. Such as when people ask me, how the food is, yeah, that's fantastic. You really can cook. People ask about, performance of their children. Oh, your daughter can really sing. I tell you, people are born with, these days kids are born with great talent. Or here in the Toastmasters, people say, great speech, I look forward to your next speech. Or getting the reviews by the plumber who works in your kitchen or somewhere. I can recommend you to my neighbors while I'm thinking he couldn't fix a small leak. So no matter what, I do plan to do this moving forward, and it's very important to correct myself and to tell the things that people would like to hear. And finally, you have a great audience. I would like to thank you.